The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And here we are inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. And there they were, the Cowboys out on the practice field. Bill Jones, Mickey Spagnola, Everson Walls with his Cowboys star on in his own personal studio. How you doing, Everson?
I'm doing just fine, sir.
Yes, and it was great to see the Cowboys out on the practice field. It's been a while since we've been able to see them on the practice field, Mickey.
Yes, although in on the practice field, not out on the practice field. They were indoors.
I say when you're out of the locker room, then you're
out on the practice field.
That's right. That's right.
That's good.
I thought it was a scene of like the majestic Serengeti with the wildebeest, grazing. Is that, you talk about seeing them out on the practice field. Yeah. It wasn't that, huh, Spag?
No, it wasn't. But it was good to see the special teams and the individual
When you're out
workouts.
of COVID protocol and out on the practice field, it doesn't matter whether it's indoors or outdoors.
Or you're still in intense COVID protocol, or further intensified, I should say. But good to see a little football and after the bye week and get back in practice. And they had several guys that were back in practice for the first time. Well, I guess they did the kind of walk-through mock practice that they did on Monday.
But we didn't get to see that, so that doesn't count.
But that doesn't count, right? So removed from the COVID-19 reserve list were Andy Dalton and Tyrone Crawford. So Crawford will be ready to go. Another benefit of having the bye last week, because he wouldn't have played last week. And who knows if Dalton would have played last week. So they're off. Sure. And the thing that I thought was most encouraging was they started the 21-day practice period for Brandon Knight to bring him off of injured reserve. And he was moving pretty well in those individual drills. Now, I don't know how much they want him to do, but he had his knee scoped for a torn meniscus. And normally those things take around 3 weeks or so to return, unless you're Jay Novacek and you basically have your surgery. You miss you take the bye week and are ready for the playoffs the next week. I think that occurred. It was the '95 season, if I remember correctly.
It makes me so mad.
Because you're
but you're talking about a guy you're talking about a guy 240. There's a difference between a guy 240 and 315.
Yeah, and it's also
it just takes a little bit more to get ready.
Has happened
a little bit more meat to deal with.
Has happened to one of my. I think I've told you guys this before. One of my tennis doubles partners. He was going to have meniscus repair, and I said, "Oh, you'll be back in 3 weeks." Well, Jay Novacek wasn't probably 48 years old when he had the surgery, right? And 3 months later, 3 months later, Jim goes, "What happened to that 3-week thing? I still can't get out and play."
I said,
"You've been hanging around too many top-notch athletes,
right?
Spags."
Yeah.
Everson, I said it makes me so mad when I hear anybody coming back, even within 3 weeks or whenever, from a meniscus injury. I had a partially torn meniscus from jogging like 9 years ago, and a doctor told me, if you were an athlete, I'd say surgery, but you're not an athlete, so you just go ride an elliptical or get on an elliptical or ride a bike the rest of your life. And here I am 9 years later.
No surgery for you.
And I can't even jog down a basketball court without my knee. And I could have done it 9 years. And so I tried to get it done like last summer, not this COVID summer, but the summer before.
Too old.
I'm too old now because at my age, it's like there's too much of a chance of arthritis. But if I would have done it 9 years ago, the insurance would have said no problem. But anyway, go ahead, Mickey.
Don't feel bad when I fractured.
But no, we have to be clear though, Spags. We have to be clear. Bill, you were never an athlete.
That's exactly right.
Face that fact.
I understand that.
It doesn't really. It wasn't really the age. It was your build.
That's right. The doctor he figured it out real quick. You're not an athlete, so
when I fractured my fifth metatarsal in my left foot, I got told the same thing. The doctor said, "Well, if you were an athlete, we'd do surgery, put a pin in there, and you'd be back in 2 to 3 weeks." He goes, "But since you're not, 3 months or so, you."
So the lesson for all of you out there: all right, the doctor tells you you're not an athlete. Don't believe him. Just go ahead and have the surgery anyway. Go ahead and have the surgery.
Believe Dr. Jones, please.
All right, Mickey, go ahead.
So anyway, and one person who wasn't at practice, haven't got a reason for it yet, but I don't think it's serious. Randy Gregory wasn't out there, so we'll see where that goes when the official injury report.
We
does
really
come
need
out.
him out there.
Yes,
I think he has
absolutely.
spurred this defense on.
And
big
good
time.
to see Awuzie out there, and so kind of a
Yes.
trade-off there. They're putting Diggs on IR, and Awuzie's activated off of IR. So we'll see where that one goes. So that was kind of the practice update. More special teams. And the other thing he mentioned when Mike was asked about signing another punter and put him on the practice squad, he mentioned Chris. So I guess he meant Chris Jones,
yes,
who had the surgery.
That's what I took.
And that within a week or so he should be at least able to come back and be the backup punter if they stay with Niswander.
What surgery did he have?
Core muscle.
Okay.
It was the same thing Sean Lee had.
And he had that 2 weeks ago?
It was after.
So he could be
It was after
the backup punter within 3 weeks with the core muscle?
I don't know, but that was his answer, right? He said, "Well, Chris will be back out there." I didn't see him out there, but we'll see where that one goes too. So they basically said Niswander will be the punter going forward. They had worked out Marquette King. The only thing I remember about that guy, you guys, was that when the Raiders came here for a preseason game, during warm-ups, he tried as hard as he could to hit the video board, like kicking the ball straight up in the air. And he did hit it, right? And I can't remember who it was. It was one of the special teams coaches or assistant coaches. They go, "Yeah, but when you're in a game, you're not going to stand there and kick the ball straight up in the air. You do need some distance, right?"
Right.
So, but yeah, he celebrated that he hit the board.
And the big thing on the punter, and why the punter is an issue, since the Cowboys have a Thursday game after a Sunday game, and just with the COVID protocol, if anything happened to Niswander, you couldn't get another punter in here and get him cleared through COVID protocol before the Thursday game, right?
So you might have to rely on Zerline if you don't have another
Zerline
punter
is such
there.
a trick shot artist with
Well,
all
you know
his
what?
kicking and stuff. I mean, he can handle the
I
punting
saw him
if
doing
he
some
needed.
trick shot artist stuff out there. He was bouncing the ball, and it was coming up about, 2 feet, 3 feet, and then he was kicking it in the air.
Well, here's the other thing. With Fossil and McCarthy, they would just fake the punt anyway.
Right,
So.
yeah, absolutely. No sense worrying about that. So
Right.
anyway,
I think you're right, Bill. I think he gives us a few more options that you may not have with some other kickers. I love Greg the Leg is he's just innovative. Before you go on, Spag, reminds me a lot of Matt Barr when I was with the New York Giants. Just guys that are novelties at everything that they do.
And then they did sign Breland Speak, defensive tackle. He's on the roster as an exception, so I assume that means till he passes the COVID testing. He was a second-round pick of Kansas City in 2018. As a matter of fact, he was their first draft choice, sort of the Tristan Hill type, because they didn't have a first-round pick. He played that first year with the Chiefs, sorry. He started 4 of the 16 games he played, and then was injured coming out of training camp in 2019. They placed him on IR, and then he got suspended 4 games for violation of substance abuse policy. So he missed the whole 2019 season. He went to training camp with him this year. He was released on the final cuts, and then a month later, the Raiders picked him up, kept him for a month, and then released him. So the Cowboys are going to take a look at this guy. They're finding all these guys that are just sitting there. So might as well look at them, put them on the practice squad.
The other thing to consider about Speaks, so he was a second-round pick in 2018, and they were running a 3-4, and they switched to a 4-3, and so the main thing that intrigued me about signing Speaks is at 6'3", 285 or whatever he is, 5 technique in a 3-4 defense, he might fit that mold more so sometimes.
Yeah, that could be, but they just need to stick with that 4-3 right now.
Right, exactly right.
And especially
I'm
going
looking
into
future.
this
I'm
game.
looking for future.
Right.
I'm not looking for right now.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
looking for
down
the road.
Yeah.
If indeed they want to go to a 3-4 eventually.
Well, they just better be able to play that 4-3 against what's getting ready to slam in their face on Sunday.
That's right. Gary Kubiak's offense with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I wonder how much of it's Kubiak and how much they stayed in what Stefanski had been doing there last year, especially running the ball. And Mike Zimmer in his conference call today made mention of that, about their kind of outside, what do they call it? Outside zone that they run, getting the ball. And he talked about what you need, and you need athletic offensive linemen. Obviously, you need a good running back and a guy that can catch the football too. And Delvin Cook, as we know, is all that. So that's probably priority number one for the Cowboys. They got to shut down the chef.
Well,
that's his nickname, by the way, if you didn't know that.
Okay.
Delvin the Chef Cook.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm sorry, I blanked out a little bit there, Spags.
I did too.
I'm glad you explained that to me because I had no connection.
I figured I better throw in the Cook so you guys
It
get
didn't
it,
fit
right?
with Dalvin, but okay.
And my son's a chef, so I should have known. It's just you caught me off guard.
But
there.
then, and one of the
we
things
start thinking about this offense, though, Spags. This is something that the Browns were successful with. I'm surprised other teams didn't try it on us after what they saw Cleveland doing. I would imagine they just didn't want to come out of their own game plan, figuring that would be their own recipe for defeat if they were to change their game plan just to suit what they saw was successful by other teams. This is going to be a tough game. Well, first of all, it's going to be tough for us to try and predict, because as much as I'm trying to pull for the Cowboys, I have to see that they're going to be successful and have made the adapted to what they saw in Cleveland. Obviously, they hadn't seen that offense since. So the last time they did see it, you're looking at almost 300 yards rushing.
No, it was
So now you got the
307.
I'm sorry, you're looking at over 300 yards
Yes.
rushing. So when you so when you think of the leading rusher coming in here, I'm very nervous about this, but also I'm kind of excited to see just what kind of adjustments the Cowboys coaching staff is going to make. This is going to be an indictment on them as much as it is on the players.
Well,
and by the way, Mike Zimmer was asked about, do you take a look at what happened with Cleveland? And he said, "Oh yeah." He goes, we'll look at that, but that's not the only thing we'll look at. But obviously, they kind of ran similar to what the Vikings do now. So yeah, he said they'd take a serious look at why Cleveland was able to run for 307 yards. But remember,
if we take the end around out of it, then you don't really have 300.
Right, and
yeah, there was 260 instead.
I'm just really just throwing darts, man.
Then that's like a couple of weeks later, the Arizona game, you take the quarterback run out, and the Cardinals didn't run for as many against them either.
Or the last 69-yard touchdown.
The 80-yard drive.
That's right, the Kenyon Drake at the end, when it was garbage time.
And they probably didn't throw for as much if you take out the 80-yard touchdown pass to Kirk, right?
Mm.
So
see, if you just look at it the way we look at it, the Cowboys have a great year going. Yeah, defense.
That's right. If you got rid of the turnovers, The other thing on the offensive line, Rick Dennison, I spoke, I think it was yesterday, about how the Vikings had a transition on their offensive line after Tony Sperano tragically passed away just prior to the season a couple of years ago. And Rick Dennison became their offensive line coach, and Dennison has those same roots with Kubiak. And Stefanski was with him last year. Now, Stefanski went to Cleveland, and Bill Callahan is his offensive line coach, and who's one of the best, if not the best in the business, the offensive line coach. So anyway.
Yep. Speaking of offensive line coaches.
Well, there you go.
You want to transition
right
to that?
Into, what's going on with the Giants? Now, you're more familiar with what's going on there than I am, so you have at it.
Well,
Mickey.
Former Cowboys offensive line coach who ended up with the Giants when they didn't retain him, Marc Colombo, got fired today, and the report that came out is he and Joe Judge got in a fight. Now, I don't know if it said before he got fired or after he got fired, but they had a replacement already there for the last couple of weeks. He and, let's see if I can say it, DeGiuliamo, way too many letters.
He's coming from an Italian.
Name.
He can't say the word.
I think I'm close to it. I think I'm real close to it.
DeGuglielmo.
And you know
we
what?
Just call him Mo.
And you know what? And I've seen 3 different stories, and his last name was spelled 3 different ways. No one got it. I don't know which is right, because one of them had it was D-U and then capital G, and the other one was D-E capital G.
All right, I'm just trying to. Okay, so it was apparently a fist fight this morning between Judge and Colombo. I'm just trying to picture if Jason Garrett was trying to break it up.
Yeah.
That's where I was headed there, Bill.
Now you got to remember,
Jason probably sicked him on him, like, go get him.
And
spreading rumors.
And the weird thing is their offensive line played better the last couple of weeks. They've been.
Thank
improving.
you. They played well,
right?
I've been watching them. They are actually improving. So
and their
I'm
first
kind of
round draft
confused
choice
as well.
actually started to play better at left tackle when they didn't assume. Is Thomas? Is that a?
Yeah, left tackle.
The left tackle.
And this is their bye week.
Oh, it is?
For the Giants.
Oh, so they had too much time on their hands.
Yeah, that's right. Idle hands, devil's workshop. So I'm thinking things came to a head.
Jason Garrett is in the wings. Jason Garrett is probably Colombo's corner man, right? Just in case he gets a cut.
Well, that's why Colombo got hired there, obviously.
Yeah,
Jason Garrett was the offensive coordinator.
I wonder if they brought their fight
I'm sure
t-shirts.
Judge is looking at Jason kind of side-eyed right now, like, what's up, man? You do this on purpose? What a setup.
I wonder if they brought their training camp fight T-shirts with them.
That's what Colombo showed up with a Cowboy Fight T-shirt on today. That's what happened.
You're fired.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, there's a lot of firing going on out there on the East Coast these days.
Yes, it is.
I said there was a lot of firing going on out there on the East Coast
Was
these
there
days.
another one? Or just that?
Every day in one city.
Okay.
Or district, I should say.
Yeah, he's talking the Atlantic coastline. He's talking the Thailand coastline, Bill.
I got you.
So come down a little to the south.
Hey, you
come
guys
down a
got to
little
keep
south.
up with me today, okay?
Right, I'm with you, Spags. Bill's the one.
All right.
And with that,
we'll move on. And I'm going to do some research on Dave DeGuglielmo, the new offensive line coach of the New York Football Giants.
It's got to be a soft G, right? Got to be a soft G.
Dave DeGuglielmo. All right, the new offensive line coach.
It's a hard G?
They're all soft G's in Italian.
I made it up. All right, we continue with Mick shots in just a moment.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Grab some OtterBox gear and get ready for hanging with the boys. From rugged venture coolers to tough as nails elevation tumblers, we've got what you need to keep your game day drinks frosty and your football feast ice cold. And with cases, screen protectors, and power accessories, you can defend your phone and stay connected to every play. Gear up at OtterBox.com and amp up the fun of every Cowboys game. That's OtterBox.com.
We're back with a tasty treat that's sweeping airwaves and taste buds. It's new Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda. Let's take a listen.
Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda's here. A new combo that's music to my ears, okay. Let's play. Cream Soda and Dr. Pepper time. Pour it in a glass of ice.
Music to my ears and mouth. New Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda.
A delicious duet.
Back to Mixed Shots.
You can now support your beloved Cowboys from anywhere. Open up AT&T's Fan Zone feature inside the Cowboys app and record your personal cheer and referee signals. You will send a personalized mosaic and may show up on the AT&T Live FX video board during the game.
Oh, perfect. 15 seconds.
Nice.
It's the
Nice.
that is the AT&T Fan Zone read for Mixed Shots, and out to the side of it, Everson, it says 15 seconds, and so Mickey was timing my read right there. 15 seconds, right on the dot.
That's right.
Well written, right there.
That's kind of what they were doing. The NBA. That's kind of what the NBA was doing in Orlando in the bubble, right? They had people being videoed virtually.
Yeah,
right?
there you go. I wasn't paying attention to what I was reading. I was just trying to make it under 15 seconds. So, yeah, that's what that said there, wasn't it? Open up AT&T's Fan Zone feature inside the Cowboys app. Record your personal cheer and referee signals. Mickey, I want you to don your referee's hat and record your personal cheer and referee signals, and you'll receive a personalized
what I just found out is we can pass Bill anything and he'll read it. That's what I just found out. He doesn't even know what the hell he's reading. We can pass him anything.
Yep, it's like read the teleprompter.
That's like when you have a producer in TV, Everson, you just read what they write, and then you go,
just read what they tell you.
And then you go, did I just say that? They think I came up with that.
Yes.
That's like my favorite broadcaster of all time, Ted Baxter, on the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
I thought you were going to say Ted Dawson.
Ted Dawson. This just in. There's something on your tie. That was Ted Baxter.
We are way too old, guys. We are way too old. I'm sorry. Forgive us. Anyone that was born after 1970, I'm sorry. We apologize.
I don't know. My daughter enjoys that dad humor. The bad humor.
TV land.
Yep, that's right. All right. Hey, Mickey, speaking of bad humor, what else you got?
So I keep hearing this about Andy Dalton, like he didn't know what he was doing when he was out there. I think, first of all, everybody forgot how he finished off the Giants game after Dak got hurt.
9 out of 11.
And he led them to the two drives, the kicked field goals, to be able to win the game. And then everybody kind of remembers that they got beat so bad by Arizona. What did it end up?
38 to 10.
38-10, was that what it was? And he ended up completing 34 of 54 passes for 266 yards. But remember, they kind of fell behind like 31 to 3, right?
They kind of fumbled the ball away.
Here's what everybody
running back kind of fumbled it away.
Here's what everybody forgets. It was midway through the first quarter. There were 5:07 left in the first quarter when Zach Martin went out with a concussion.
What quarter?
The first
quarter of the Arizona game.
Of the Arizona game.
He played 2 games basically without Zach Martin.
With backup guys.
Everybody's
right?
backup.
And again, here's what they had out there. They had two rookies out there at the same time. Steele at right tackle. Biadasz was playing in his second start. Connor Williams was the senior member of that offensive line in his third year. And McGovern came in for Zach Martin at right guard, and he was playing his first snaps in the NFL. So that's what the protection was for Andy Dalton. And guess what? He got sacked 3 times. He got hit 8 times. They had 7 tackles for losses against the Cowboys and 7 passes defense. They lost 2 fumbles. There were 2 interceptions, and the one was when Kirkpatrick, he grabbed C.D. Lamb from behind and tackled him, and then the ball went right to him. So I don't want to hear this stuff that Andy Dalton can't do as good, if not better, than when Garrett Gilbert did. And nothing against Garrett Gilbert. He did fine. But Everson, you pointed out that one play where he missed Cooper for basically a touchdown, and he went underneath. There was a pass underneath. He dumped it off.
I think I mentioned that.
Oh, you did it to Pollard or
that was the first drive of the game.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah. He had him in the slot.
Yes.
And the middle of the field was wide open, and Cooper's breaking to his right. He was coming out of the left slot, and he had a touchdown pass, and he never looked there. He looked there before the play started and then was looking the other way. So, and it's
now,
like,
having said that, the safety's reading where the quarterback's looking, but that was the matchup that they wanted.
He wouldn't have got there in time.
Right.
And so sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not what you do; it's what you don't do. Sometimes that'll get a quarterback in trouble because you got to make those plays.
Spags.
So anyway, I just wanted to point that out for everybody that looks at that Arizona game. Oh, they only scored 1 touchdown; they only had 10 points. Well, there was a damn good reason why, because that offensive line was really struggling against that Arizona front. So
when you're a quarterback behind a young offensive line like that, you don't expect to have much help or much time. You don't anticipate that. And if you play for that, then you're fooling yourself. And I think everything showed up because of the pressures, because of the hits, and because of the sacks. It let you know that he was going to be in for a rough game regardless. It was up to him to try and stand in there and make it happen. But when it comes down to it, we were clearly, no doubt, overmatched offensively. That's why you need more than one facet of the game. I keep talking about that. That's why the defense has to come to play. If my offense puts me in a bind defensively and they throw an interception or cause a turnover, and let's say it's deep in our own territory, that doesn't mean defensively we just throw up our hands and go, oh, well. It's time for the other part of the team to come through. It's time for you to help your other part of the ball. Those guys on the other side of the ball. Those are the kind of things, that's the mentality that winning teams have. It's nothing unusual. It's no novelty. Winning teams do that all the time. Teams with a culture of helping out the guys on the other side of the ball. That is created through time. And the Cowboys just don't have that right now.
And remember, in that game too, it was
which game are you talking about?
Arizona.
Okay.
It was 0-0 after the first quarter. And then all of a sudden the Cowboys fumble. Arizona gets the ball at their 46, touchdown. Zeke fumbled again, those 2 possessions in a row. They get the ball at the Cowboys 27, touchdown.
And then they hit an 80-yard bomb.
And then they hit the 80-yard bomb, touchdown.
It's 21-0.
It's 21-0 at halftime.
So now you're throwing the ball 54 times.
Zeke's
and then
out
you
of
drive
the game,
down
basically.
the first drive of the third quarter, and you had the holding call that was interception.
Right.
And the Cardinals rattle off like 3 20-yard runs. The defense couldn't stop them, and now all of a sudden it's 28-0 or whatever it was.
And it was.
Let me take you to the Washington game.
Okay.
Obviously, the Washington game, you had the sack, fumble in the end zone, or it was a safety. Schultz recovered in the end zone for a safety, and then the defense couldn't stop him after the free kick, and it's 9-0. You're in a 9-0 hole. Cowboys came down to make it a 9-3 game. It's a 9-3 game. I'm looking at the play-by-play on it right now, and this is early second quarter, a 9-3 game. And remember the C.D. Lamb drop?
Yes.
He was on a 2nd and 10 on a slant, and CD drops it, and CD might have gone all the way on that thing. Instead, Instead, 2 plays later, the Cowboys decide to go for it at the 45-yard line on 4th and 1 with an offensive line that was a state of what we all know what it was like, and they threw an incomplete pass. Chase Young pressure on the play. Washington then 2 plays later, touchdown to McLaurin over Trayvon Diggs, and it's now all of a sudden what could have been a 10-9 Cowboys lead if CD holds on, or at least they're in position to make even get down in field goal range for a 9-6 game. Instead of that, all of a sudden, by going forward on 4th down at midfield, 2 plays later, you're in a 15-3 hole.
And if I remember in that Arizona game, Gallup had a drop touchdown,
all right,
too.
And I'll take it a step further. Next possession for the Cowboys, down 15-3. They've got the ball at the 36-yard line, and that right guard, Connor McGovern, who's in there for Zach Martin, on 3rd and 9, the football team blitzes. McGovern doesn't pick up the blitz. The linebacker Holcomb came. He went and took the safety instead. Holcomb comes up the middle. Zeke's in no position to pick up the linebacker, sack of Dalton, and you're punting the ball away. And you can't stop him again. And now you're down 22-3 with 3 minutes left in the second quarter.
And then you get the concussion.
That's right. Yeah. But Andy Dalton can't play.
And I'm sinking into my couch right about now.
Right, exactly.
You know, just dreading everything that's happening during the ball game and saying deja vu all over again.
So the point of all this is, let's see what Andy Dalton can do.
Yeah, give him a fair shot.
I mean, and in fact, I think there's a greater chance that Andy Dalton, considering Andy Dalton's situation where he lives right here, there's a greater chance that Andy Dalton might take another 1-year deal next year, and he might be Dak's backup quarterback again next year. We'll see. Let's see what the last 7 games holds.
And how about this little slice? So Mike Zimmer was asked, so you were with Cincinnati and you know all about Andy Dalton. And Mike goes, yeah, but this is a different offense. He probably knows more about what I do defensively than I know what he's going to do with this offense. But remember,
very, very
Mike was the defensive coordinator there before he went to Minnesota as the head coach, and Dalton was the quarterback.
When Dalton first came into the league and was leading the Vikings to 5 straight playoff appearances, and I might add, 0 playoff wins.
Right.
Well, we know one of them we can put on somebody, a guy named Pac-Man Jones, or I wouldn't put it on Pac-Man. Pac-Man was in Seward. Thank you, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we can. Mick is going to come back in just a moment because he wanted to do this yesterday, and we got talking something else. It's the NFC East, how it stacks up the rest of the way?
Absolutely.
Okay, when we come back on Mick Shots.
We're back with a tasty treat that's sweeping airwaves and taste buds. It's new Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda. Let's take a listen.
Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda's here. A new combo that's music to my ears, okay. Let's play. Cream Soda and Dr. Pepper time. Pour it in a glass of ice.
Ah, music to my ears and mouth. New Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda.
A delicious duet.
Dear, it's 1908. Don't you think we should get electricity?
And stop using candles to see at night.
It's just electricity lights up the room fast. It's more reliable than candles blowing out, and people seem to love it nationwide.
Well, candles are...
Dear, did you just run into the wall?
Nope. May I have a new candle, please?
Historically, switching to new technology is a no-brainer. Today, it's AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Switch to AT&T 5G. It's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan. May not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Verilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
Back to Mixed Shots.
Speaking of boxing, the unified welterweight world champion Arrow the Truth Spence Jr. will duel two-division world champion Danny Swift Garcia in a blockbuster main event on Saturday, December 5th at AT&T Stadium. Get your tickets now before they sell out at SeatGeek.com.
Who is speaking of boxing?
I think we just were.
You think Marc Colombo might make a guest appearance at the...
Maybe an undercard.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
That would be good.
Get him a quick undercard.
That's right.
What was the big fat dude's name? Butter something. What was his name? The big dude from New York. Butterbean. Yeah, he and Butterbean could have a nice fight. That would be cool.
Oh, man. Don't you know they're having a field day with this in New York today?
The New York Post.
Oh, my goodness.
Wait till that
I can't wait to get off this phone so I can look at Twitter. I've got to look. I can't wait.
All right, Mickey, tell us about the NFC East.
Yes. So what we need to understand why everybody keeps saying, the Cowboys are kind of still in this. They're in last place, 2-7. They're only one win behind Philadelphia, 3-5-1. Washington's second at 3-7. Or the Giants are in second at 3-7. Washington is next at 2-7, and the Cowboys, because they lost to Washington, are technically in last place. But let's look at the remaining schedule of all these teams. Here's the Eagles. Here's their next 5 games. You tell me how they're going to do. They got to play Cleveland. At Cleveland. They 6-3. They play Seattle, 6-3. They play Green Bay, 7-2. They play New Orleans, 7-2, and they play Arizona, 6-3. Before they get to the Cowboys in Washington to finish off their next 7 games. That is an opponent record of 36-27 with a .577 winning percentage.
So you're telling me headed to Week 16, the Eagles are going to be 3-10-1.
Well, I don't know what they're going to be, but how many times you think they're going to win in those 5 games, right?
All right.
What are the percentages?
At Cleveland, Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans, and at Arizona. All right.
And home
now,
and
if you
away,
just take those teams right there and take out the NFC East teams, that winning percentage is even more daunting. So I don't know if you got your calculator there, but you take out the take out the Giants and Cowboys.
And Everson, when I get done with this, remind me. I've got a neat stat on that too by the NFC East. Okay.
Okay.
So now the Giants, their next 7 games: Cincinnati 2-6-1, Seattle 6-3, Arizona 6-3, Cleveland 6-3, Baltimore 6-3, and then they finish the season against the Cowboys. So their opponent record 28-25-1, a .518 winning percentage.
Okay.
Then we go to so that's 4 teams with winning records.
Let me ask you this: do the
finals.
Giants next week win at Cincinnati?
Who knows?
All right, let's say they don't win.
They don't.
All right.
They don't win. That means they're going to lose 5 in a row. That puts them at 3-12 going into the Dallas
Okay.
game. So we got the Eagles at 3-10-1 going into the Dallas game Week 16, and we got the Giants at 3-12 going into the last game of the season against Dallas. Okay, there we go.
All right, now we go to Washington,
All
and
right.
they've got the soft serve one here. Their last 7 games: Cincinnati, Dallas, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Seattle, Carolina, and then Philadelphia. So their opponent record is 29-34-2 for a .446 winning percentage. Now, we know what the Cowboys have left, right? At Minnesota, Washington, Baltimore, at Baltimore, Cincinnati, San Francisco, the Giants, and Philadelphia. That opponent record is 23-34-2. So that's the worst of all the teams in the NFC East, or maybe I should say the best in whatever way you're looking at it. But that opponent record is the lowest of any of them going. So, again, who knows? The Cowboys have to play one team with a winning record. I get it. Minnesota and San Francisco are both 4-5. Washington plays two teams with winning records, one that hasn't been beaten yet, Pittsburgh. The Giants, 5 teams with winning records, or 4 teams, and the Eagles with 5 teams. So those teams, and the Cowboys have already played all these teams and basically lost, right? If you look at it, they lost to Seattle, Arizona, Cleveland. They got to play Baltimore yet.
Pittsburgh.
That's the Giants. And then for the Eagles, they've lost to Cleveland, Seattle, and Arizona, along with Washington, by the way. So those are the teams these guys got to play. So it's going to go down to the wire. It's going to be who can win the NFC East games, because there's going to be ties
Obviously,
in there, and the division record's going to be the tiebreaker. You watch. Now, how about this?
If the Eagles, go ahead.
How about this? Pittsburgh, undefeated. They're 3-0 against the NFC East so far. They got one left. Seattle is 1-0. They beat the Cowboys. They got to play the other 3 teams. The Rams swept the NFC East. They're 4-0. They're 2-3 against the rest of the NFL. Mm-hmm. And Arizona 2-0. San Francisco now is 1-1. So here's what I figured out about the NFC West, because it's the toughest division, right? Those teams are 8-1 against the NFC East. Against the rest of the league, they're 14-14. So
the NFC East is making the NFC West look great.
Yes, absolutely. They're 500 against everybody else.
What division?
So
what
the
division
West,
now has the
West,
best?
The NFC West total is 22-15. But they're 8-1 against the NFC East and 14-14 against the rest of the league. So are they good?
Including amongst themselves.
Yeah. So. Are they good? Well, maybe. But as bad as everybody says the NFC East is, they're making the NFC West, which is the division that has only one team with a losing record.
So, having said that, how many wins is it going to take to win the NFC East?
6?
Where do the Cowboys have to get to?
6?
Everson says 5.
Okay. I said 5.
5-11.
I said 5. Yeah.
All right. Now keep in mind
that's crazy.
Since the Eagles have that tie against Cincinnati, if they win 2 of their remaining 7 games,
they get to 5.
The Cowboys have to get to 6.
Right.
So the Cowboys would have to win 4 of their last 7.
Right.
I think if the Cowboys go 4-3 the rest of the way to get to 6-10 on the season, they've got a pretty good shot at winning the NFC East. Because I'm not sure that the Eagles can win more than 2.
Yeah. What we've
the
seen,
Eagles
right?
have the toughest
so that's
schedule.
That's why
they have the toughest schedule to end it.
That's why you don't give up. That's why you don't give up. You just keep playing. And you're hoping that these young guys that have been playing more continue to improve, and we're going to find out. We will find out about this run defense for sure on Sunday when they have to go up against the Chef. Which, by the way, he has a.
And the other. He has a charity.
Wait, hold on. He has a charity. And
go ahead.
He has a charity, and they have a food truck, and he serves food out of the food truck, I believe I read. That's how the Chef started. Not to mention cook.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Interesting.
So
I
what were
thought
you
they
gonna
just
say,
came
Everson?
up with it just because of the name. No, I was just going to say the Eagles have the worst schedule, or at least the toughest schedule to end it. And so that, like you said, that does give the Cowboys a chance. But I don't want to start thinking about tanking a season. First of all, we talked about this earlier. Tanking, maybe we did it and I didn't know it, right? 1-15, 1989. Maybe we were tanking. I thought we were playing hard. And also 2-14, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 2-14 or 3-13 to end Tom Landry's season? Nobody ever thought about tanking. 1988, I mean, as bad as we were, it's just not part of your DNA as an organization. And let's look at it. The Jets have had the number one pick. How many years have the Jets had the number one pick? Let's say in the last 10 years. It hadn't done jack for them. It hadn't done jack for them. You can look at the Knicks. You can look at the Knicks and say, how did that work for them? Every time you look up, they're in the lottery. It doesn't really matter. Eventually, you're going to have to show what you're worth as a player and as an organization. And I'm with you, Spags. This team they cannot give up. You've got, I hate, the only thing I hate about this game is when it comes to the running game and how important that is to stop. It's an exception to the rule. You see, we won't be, besides the Browns, we really won't, I don't think we're going to be playing any other team that comes out with this running philosophy. So I hate to have to hang our hat on what happens this weekend because it's such a unique running situation as far as your opponent is concerned. I'm hoping that we can be good against it, and that could really give a telltale sign of how our run defense is going to be afterwards and into the future. But I don't think they're going to see another running game like this one, so it's kind of hard for me to say what our defense is going to look like coming into this game and leaving this game. I don't know if that's going to be the barometer that we want to look at necessarily, Spags, because we haven't seen, besides the Browns, any other team that has this type of running philosophy with this personnel. It's almost like they're the exceptions to what they're going to see for the rest of the year.
All I got to say is if you could hold them to 100 yards rushing, you probably have a chance to win. But if they get 150
I hope that doesn't mean that Kirk Cousins is on fire. I hope that doesn't mean that Kirk Cousins is on fire. That cannot happen. That cannot happen.
That's what you have to take your chance on, right?
All right, we're out of time. I will say this, Dan Graziano reporting the NFL sent a memo to teams today informing them that as of this Saturday, all 32 teams must operate under the league's intensive COVID-19 protocols for the remainder of the season. That means virtual meetings, masks on the practice field, etc. So the Cowboys ahead of the curve on that, having already implemented
and we mentioned that yesterday about how they've put the coaches and the rest of the staff that's around the team on a daily basis in a bubble. And the other thing they're doing is Jerry Jones, the Cowboys, will pay for family members coming to visit during the holidays. He will pay for them to be tested so they can enter the hotel bubble and be with the coaches and members of the staff. So that's one of the extensions of what we talked about yesterday. We got further clarification of that, and Mike McCarthy said basically this bubble at the hotel next door is for the remainder of the season.
Mm-hmm. And now the NFL has followed suit.
And if things get bad, there's always room on the yacht.
There you go. That's right.
The Cowboys put out to sea.
Yeah. All right. That does it. That does it for Mix Shots for this Wednesday, and we will see you again tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!